Marker.
Marker. I barely know her. Oh, where's Shane at?
Oh my
hey,
gosh,
Shane, you're back.
You're back?
How's it going, bro?
No talking, no laughing. Only Lil Jon ad-libs.
What? Okay.
Yeah!
Lil Jon. You switched it on me.
That's because you weren't saying anything, and Shane said no talking, so I figured what was the only appropriate response.
Not okay?
Oh yeah, good point.
I say like you're agreeing to
Yeah, but it's what? Yeah, okay. That's how the order goes most of the time. In the song "Yeah" by Usher and Lil Jon with featuring
Eric Williams.
Ludacris.
Luda.
So how's it going,
So
guys?
how's everybody doing today?
Yeah,
I'm glad you're back. Good. Yeah, glad you're back, Shane.
Yeah, I escaped.
How's your week been?
Well, I spent my time in a basement. So.
Sounds like a fun week.
Yeah.
I've had worse ones.
How's your week been, Becca?
It's been pretty good. I've been pretty tired, but that's just life.
Yeah, I feel you
So-
there. I've been pretty tired too, and yeah, doing a lot of editing lately. How about you, Eric? How's your week been?
Oh, it's good.
That's good.
Mm.
It's been good.
It's been okay.
It's been a really, really messed up week.
7 days of Potter,
torture,
and I watched
7
all of the movie.
7 days of Potter. You watched all the movies?
Yeah.
Is that how you watched your week? Or spent your week?
No.
That's how you watch it.
That's like,
Dissociated the entire time.
It is Monday, so.
That's true. You still got.
Hey, don't break the others.
And there's 8 movies.
Well,
You
yeah.
didn't even
I
get
just
that
said
right.
I just said 7 days of Potter.
That's true.
Doesn't mean that I didn't watch like a movie and a quarter each
It's like
day.
the 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
The first day of Potter, my true love gave to me.
Harry
I had
Potter,
week
Harry
in a
Potter,
pear
Harry
tree.
Potter.
Dumbledore. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about shoot, I don't know. What are we talking about? today?
Evansville.
Let's talk about Evansville. You guys ever been to Evansville?
Yes.
Just once. Shane goes regularly.
Incorrect. I've been once.
I'm confused.
Driving, I love much more than M4 right now. I won't lie.
That's fair.
Driving was better.
And it does say the drive to Evansville. Why you should drive to
Okay,
Evansville.
I don't think we should do Evansville. I don't know much about Evansville.
I do. There's some good pizza places, a Walmart.
Oh, but Shane's only been there once.
I've only been there once. I've eaten at multiple pizza places.
Incorrect.
I
I
know all
only
about
ate
it.
at Applebee's and B-Dubs.
Oh.
In
And the
one
first
day?
night I
Only
was
the
there,
First night?
I think I went to Pizza.
3 restaurants in one night?
It was a couple nights, but I was there
Okay.
once. I didn't leave and come back. Actually, I guess that's not true. We actually went to Kentucky in that period.
How did...
So technically, we left Evansville and then came back. But
But you drove there, so.
correct. Kentucky's right there, so I went on the highway and went a little too far.
Don't you hate it when you just end up in Kentucky? Me too.
Happens all the time.
At least once a week.
Um,
On my way back from the basement. Ended up in Kentucky.
That's why he was gone for so long.
There's a basement in Kentucky. Eric could hear him screaming from all the way over here. So let's talk about video games, if that's cool. I want to know
It's not cool.
what is your guys' opinions on early game consoles. Let's start there. Like the Sega Genesis
Well, it
and
definitely differs
Yeah,
between
like, well, we
right.
you
Well,
two
that's.
and us two.
I think it'll be good to get some opinions from you guys since you're younger. And
Yeah.
And they
I mean,
probably never really played.
That's what I was saying. I was like,
early
RPGs
ones.
are kind of
okay,
small.
but they've played games.
I might
at
have some more than
least.
Becca does because I think I played a little bit more
Yeah.
than she did.
But it's okay if you don't have as much to say about it. I'm sure. I want to go through kind of the different generations. But as far as like the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo 64, I mean, we're even a little too young, at least I am, for the like Atari and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I've at least experienced it a little bit, and it's the basis for that. But yeah, I don't know. We at least grew up on the Genesis and
we had the Genesis.
Toe Jam and
Was
Earl.
the Genesis the one with the cartridges?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, a
yeah.
lot of the early ones had cartridges. But
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember which
64,
one that like
all the
we
original
played,
Nintendos had.
Because I do
Yeah.
remember
Cartridges.
playing some of the.
I'm sure you're either thinking of the Genesis or the Nintendo 64.
Oh, Eric has one.
She's probably thinking of Genesis.
Yeah,
Which one is
that
that?
is the
It's the
That's the,
Super
okay,
NES?
yeah, I'm thinking.
SNES?
I'm thinking the
Yeah, see?
Genesis then.
stuck finger in the SNES. So the graphics weren't as good back then, but I feel like because of that they almost had to put a lot of effort
More
into
effort.
the gameplay to the point sometimes to a fault where it was too difficult and you couldn't really beat games unless you were really
Well,
good or
there was
spent
no
a lot of time.
saving, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Having
just,
to use,
you just
like,
had to do it.
The cheat codes to go back to certain points in the game.
Yeah.
If you were able to find those.
Or leave it on for days.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder if not being able to save it made it harder or just shorter. Probably both, I guess. But they.
It's a little bit of both. I know, like, Dad complains a lot about, like, oh, games didn't used to save. You couldn't, you'd have to just restart.
Yeah.
So,
That
I know
sounds so
Dad
old,
complains.
Yeah, but you're also not playing like one of our favorite games is over 100 hours. So
Correct,
if you
yeah.
had to do that all in one run, you'd be up for a couple of days.
Yeah.
A couple days and your console would probably overheat or something. I don't know. Did those early consoles even overheat?
Can we talk about?
I'm sure their fan system wasn't the greatest.
Right.
the satisfaction of blowing into the cartridge.
Yeah, I heard
Actually,
you're not
it's
supposed to
good
do
for
that.
it.
But everybody did it.
And it worked. So
Yeah.
you might as well do it, right?
Yeah.
If it works, it works. Yeah, everybody loves blowing.
I mean, I liked the Sega Genesis little mini thing that we got. You just plugged it into
Oh,
your
yeah.
TV, and you didn't have to have like the actual Genesis and stuff. It was all just a controller attached to a little box that you would plug into the TV.
Right. Do you...
Just to say a controller attached to a box sounds a lot like a console.
That's every
But
console
it
ever.
wasn't a console.
No, it was
though.
like just the.
It had the
Right.
games
You
inside.
have the
of it
controller
digitally.
attached to the box, and then you can
Permanently
attach the box
Permanent.
to the the TV, and all of a sudden you got games going on. It's wild.
But flicky, man.
Golden Axe is what comes to mind for me.
Flicky was good. Yeah.
Flicky. You can't find it really anymore.
Yeah, it's
it's
kind of a
good.
shame, at least to me, that Sega is just doing games now. And even then, I feel like their games aren't as iconic as they used to be, except Sonic iconic. But even
Sonic
the new Sonic games, I don't feel like are on the same level.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sega was a good company, and they kind of just lost the console war.
That's alright. They produce good games now, so.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see how next gen Sega console would be. A lot of people still praise the Dreamcast over other.
Sega CD. They were like
Mhm.
the first company to use CDs.
Right. Yeah, and now everybody does. Well, it's starting to become now just download only.
Digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess moving on to CDs, let's talk about the original Xbox and the PS1. What's your guys'?
Well, there was
PS1
PlayStation
was
1
first,
was
right?
by
And then
itself,
and then the two.
basically, and then
Yeah.
And the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2, we came out with the original.
PlayStation 2 was when the Xbox.
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
fair. But I'm just talking about like the first generation of the
Oh,
consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
But we gotta go chronologically.
Okay, fine.
because-
What about the PlayStation 1?
PlayStation 1 was kick-ass.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
Yeah, don't really remember that as much because I know.
Bloody Roar, like you got all the cool
No.
fighting games where you didn't need the.
I remember Bloody Roar
the
more
stuff
from the
to be-
PS2. I feel like though.
Same,
With
yeah. I
Bloody Roar 2.
don't really remember anything from the one. I more remember the stuff we played. From
You don't
the two.
remember Crash and
Spyro.
Spyro?
I remember
Spyro
playing
is
that on
the
the
shit.
two.
Yeah. Well, you played it on the 2, but they're
But it was a
PS1
PS1
games.
game.
Yeah.
It was just
So
backwards
that's-
compatible, which is
yeah.
another thing that's going away more than it already has.
Well, the PS3 is backwards compatible to the PlayStation 1 games.
Sometimes.
No.
For the most part,
Certain
all of them.
certain versions of the console
yeah,
are
certain consoles
compatible with like
are.
pretty
So
much every
like
game.
Shane and I have one, and it is completely compatible with all the PS1 games.
Actually, now that you mention it, I did have a copy of Tumba that I would play on a PS3. The original Tumba. I spent like $50 for it.
Yeah, I
that was
want
a
to
good
play
game,
some
too.
games on it, but it's like they're so the good
Rare
ones
now.
are so expensive and
I
rare.
want
Yeah.
PS2. And I think I'm gonna buy a PS2 so I can play one game in particular.
Glover.
No, that's a PS1 game.
Correct, but it played on
64.
What's the game you want to get?
It's Need for Speed Most Wanted, but the original
nice.
version, because the
I remember
remake
when you
is
guys used to
not
play
as
that.
not as good.
I was
The
more of a
original's-
Wipeout fan. You remember that, where the goal
yeah.
was to crash and destroy stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
What was that? What was that game with the clown ice cream truck?
Oh, Twisted
Twisted
Metal Black.
Yeah,
That was a good one.
I remember before you
That
took
was
your
also a
driver's
PS1
test,
game.
you were playing, I think it was a Need for Speed game, and you were following, you were going like certain speed limits and stuff, and you're like, yeah, I'm practicing for the test.
I did that, or
You did.
And did you pass your first time?
I don't remember.
I think you did, because I
think
took you to
did
the
first
test.
time.
I dropped you off.
Yeah, but I didn't start driving until I was in another state, basically. So
Yeah, you had to get your license right before. It was like 2 days before you left.
Yeah. So that was
It's also the
interesting.
same day I rode a bike all the way.
Yeah, you rode my bike all the way to a different city
Yeah.
and popped my tire.
It took
And then came
all
home
day.
like, sorry.
It took all day.
I got some good exercise, but your bike's popped. Like, thanks. Glad you got a good day of exercise, bro.
All
Hope your
day.
sunburn doesn't
Literally
hurt.
all day it took. Trucks were going by, like blowing off my hat and stuff. It was crazy.
That sounds like a cartoon.
It was not fun.
Like an old Popeye cartoon. A truck blows your hat off. Just,
It
woo!
was not fun.
So back to the console.
Real quick though, Eric, what were those bikes called? Old timey bikes with the big wheel.
I don't know.
We figured it out at one point.
You got me at this point. I don't
Just
remember.
a front wheel or something?
Ah,
Something like that.
no,
Big
some
wheels.
stupid name.
Big wheel. But I feel like a lot of the games, there's a lot of games that we remember from the PS1 or that have gone on to continue or
Remain
get
pop
bigger and
culture.
better and or remade just because the graphics weren't great, but they were forced to make the stories good and the gameplay is good and everything. So I guess moving on to the PS2 then. They took everything up a notch and the graphics were better, the gameplay was better, they could store longer, better games on discs, and like we said, it was backwards compatible with all the PS1 games.
When we used to have to put memory cards in.
Yeah.
And like I remember we would argue over whose memory card was whose.
And did you guys know that on the loading screen, the towers get bigger if you've got more stuff on your memory card?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, the system bases those towers, that height, based on how many blocks of data you've got on your memory card. So if you unplug your memory card, it'll just be the blue screen. There won't be any towers.
That's cool.
Yeah. And the PS2 is the best-selling console of all time, even still. So
The best.
and I think the huge library of PS1 games that a lot of people may even confuse with being PS2 games.
Well, I mean, yes,
Helped
since it
that a
was
lot.
backwards compatible, you didn't have to like get rid of all your games and stuff. You still had your entire library,
Right.
and you could play it plus the new games, which is something you don't get
Yeah.
with the new consoles.
That's kind of the bad part about the download culture of games, because instead of being able to just pop the game in and have it work on your new console, you gotta
wait for it to copy data as well. Even
Yeah.
if you get the disc, it still takes like an hour to copy down all the data.
Yeah, that too.
Well, because that's something with the PS5 is that you can play PS4 games on it,
Right.
but you know, like it only holds so much space and all that junk.
Yeah, you can't just
Right.
pop in a disc and play it
No.
if your console has so much memory not available.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too. But I'm talking even like how when the PS3 came out, they released a bunch of PS1 games on the store,
Oh yeah.
but then you're paying like $5 for games that you've had for
Yeah.
2 decades or
Mhm.
whatever. Like it's a little frustrating to have to re-buy these games even if you already own it.
Like Glover.
Like Glover, yeah.
One
It was a good game.
one thing I really miss that they don't do anymore is jam packs,
Yeah.
where it was like a bunch of demos of games on one thing. I
like
remember
these.
like Shane and I
I will
used
say
to
that
play
went
jam
away with
packs
the-
all the time.
Especially with the event of downloading, that
Yeah,
went away
with
because you
PS3
could download
and
just
the
individual
individual
demos
demos.
Mhm.
rather than needing to get a disc.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like we only had a few actual PS2 and PS1 games.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff we had was the
Jam
demo
pack.
discs.
I was
Yeah.
like, I played through the
Shane and I
Toy
played a
Story
lot
2
of
one several
Yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Just
or,
like, what else can I do this time?
A Dog's Life.
Mm-hmm.
We played that one all the time. It was literally you were just a dog and you were running around like smelling things and helping
Yeah,
a
I forgot
farmer.
about
I
that.
mean, Ratchet and Clank 2. The first game I ever bought was Ratchet and Clank, because I went there to get the second one because on one of the demo discs they had Ratchet and Clank 2, and I did nothing for like 2 weeks but play that one demo. And then I was like, all right, I gotta get this game. And I went in there and I was like, I didn't even know there was a first one. This is a sequel. You didn't
Right,
know
I
until
forgot
you
about
actually
that,
went
yeah.
into the store. But we had.
I feel like
we
the
had,
2 should have indicated that to you.
It doesn't
Well,
say
it was just
two,
Ratchet and
Shane.
Clank going commando.
Okay, I don't remember exactly what the
Yeah.
order of all the games is. I'm obviously younger,
So
so
we, you had explain how we got the money to buy that game.
I don't know. What
He doesn't remember. We
Selling stuff at school?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's
we would-
exactly it.
We would always try and sell random stuff at school to other kids, and we would take like gumballs from the girl down the street and we, with her, but we would just set up like a gumball stand or sell random snacks that her mom had in the house for them.
Or we had toys that we didn't play with anymore, and we would bring them to school and sell them.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure at one point we even had like other people in on
Yes.
it. And
separate deals.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
originally it was just you, and then it was you and your friends selling like your toys and stuff. And I was like, oh, I could sell to my friends. And the day that I did that and
Capitalism.
took all the stuff, and I had all the money at that point, Mom and Dad found out and told us to stop doing it. So we just
Yeah.
had the money from everything and got to keep everything that we didn't sell. So from that money and saving up a bunch of other money and stuff,
And now there's
we
all
were
kinds
able
of
to get-
rules at schools not to sell stuff.
we were able to
you
get
can still
Ratchet
get
and
away
Clank.
with it though. You just
Right.
have to be smart.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
a kid that sold.
Animals.
Yeah, he sold. What was it? Hamsters.
So like an
Hamsters.
albino hamster
Out
and
of his
stuff,
locker.
and
Wow.
lizards
Yeah.
and stuff.
He was in my science class, and one day the teacher came in and
Dated his sister.
She was like, yeah, she was like, she was like, Ben, the principal needs to talk to you, and his friend just leaned over and he was like, it's about the hamsters.
Yeah, their mom worked at the school, so she tried to keep him from getting in trouble by taking them all out, and then he put them back in because he wanted to keep selling.
Yeah, so he
Wow.
just had like a.
But then
ton
it
of
also
animals
got
in
him a
his
full
locker.
ride to school, so who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was an entrepreneur.
So he went in and they're like, oh, I've heard about you, and the interview just went great because he was like, they were like, oh, I know about you, and they just talked about that for an hour straight.
Jeez. Yeah. So the original Xbox.
You broke that one.
Yeah, let's open with the fact that you fell asleep playing
Okay.
Sims,
That
busting out.
overheated. That
Sims
system
overheats.
overheats. That's what we figured out there.
Yeah.
That was an important lesson.
And then when we got the 360, we got a fan for it.
Yes. So I think you could actually set the Xbox to turn off after a certain amount of time. But since I was playing Sims, it was like
Stuff is happening.
you want them to keep doing
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So like I'm pretty sure I changed the setting to not automatically turn off, plus if it automatically turns off, you didn't save your game.
Yeah.
Then you're
Yeah,
just
then you're
screwed.
lost.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure I turned that off and then fell asleep playing Sims. And when I woke up,
I
it had overheated and never worked again.
We came home and you were asleep on the couch, and then the Xbox was just making the most horrific noise. Yeah, and Mom was like, "Zach, what did you do?"
Well, they had gotten the Xbox. I think the original one used.
Yeah, with
and
a bunch
it
of
came
games.
with a couple of games. Yeah, like Mortal Kombat. I remember playing.
Yeah.
The Odd World
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
was
that was a good
Fable.
Fable, yeah.
Was a good one.
I don't remember whether we bought that one.
I think that came
or
with
if
it.
came with it.
Whacked.
That's,
Whack's a great game.
Shane and I got an Xbox, I think last year, so just specifically so we could play Whacked again.
Yeah, I have an original
And we
Xbox,
have
but
Fable
I need to get Whacked again.
Yeah,
But
that was
Fable I
such
still
a good game.
play every once in a while. I haven't played the original Xbox in a while, but I feel like that's one of those systems that kind of holds up still. Not as much as, like, it's obviously not as good as the current consoles, but it holds up better than the PS1, I would argue.
That's because it was PS2 era.
Yeah, I mean, even the PS2,
But, yeah.
a lot of the games on that don't hold up as well as
Because
certain
the
Xbox
Xbox-
things. But the controller sucked. It was so big.
Yeah.
I felt like the Xbox was the first system where you had like profiles, and so you didn't have to have like your own memory card or like several save slots. It was like, oh, I'm number 1, I'm number 2, whatever. It was like you had your profile and you got on your profile and you played.
I don't remember that
Your
until the
game.
360. Did the original Xbox have that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think it did.
Because I don't think
I think
there's memory cards.
Yeah, I'm
for the
pretty sure
Xbox.
it.
Yeah, I know it was the first one to have internal storage, which was really nice.
It's
And you could
pretty huge.
yeah, and you could save music onto it too, and then a lot of the games you could even like
Yeah, you can
put your
play
own music as the
while
soundtrack
you're
of the
doing-
game. Yeah, we had a SSX skateboarding or a snowboarding game
Yeah.
that we would play and just listen to our CDs and stuff while we were playing that, and wrestling games and stuff. You could
Yeah,
just
that
have
was
the
cool.
music
I forgot about
as
that.
your own music, which the PlayStation is kind of incorporated now with Spotify music and stuff, but Xbox was kind of ahead of its time with that, and it was a cool feature I always liked. Yeah, that was probably one of the first consoles that you could jailbreak too. That I mean, I never did that with the Xbox, but my PS3 is jailbroken, and you can download games and stuff, and I feel like
I'm pretty sure you can download games on any PS3s.
well, yeah, but like you can download games from the internet and just they work, or CDs and stuff you can put in.
Yeah, you downloaded a couple onto my PS3 that I have.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure those ones are ones that I bought,
Oh, well.
but
You had to do
well,
something,
technically,
you had to do something weird to get them on there.
all of the ones that I downloaded online I have bought. There's no piracy, but yeah.
Okay.
What? So,
Little John.
I guess let's move on to the PS3 if you guys don't have anything.
I mean, what are we doing? Are we doing PS3 next? We
I would say we.
Oh.
Well, should we finish the Xbox and PlayStation lines and then we can
And then
we
go to
can
Nintendo?
yeah,
Okay.
and then we can go back.
Okay.
Unless you guys want to.
At this point, we've already missed a few.
Yeah,
Anyway, so
there's
we might as well
definitely
just
some
do
I want to go back
Nintendo
and do
by
specifically,
itself.
but yeah,
So PS3,
PS3.
Xbox 3. Did we already do it? Xbox
No, we'll do
360.
360 next, but PS3 was also ahead of its time. I feel like it was such a big leap from the PS2 to the PS3.
Well, they had to outdo themselves. Like,
And they did, and it was so hard to find at first, just like the PS5, and I think the PS4 was at first too. But I remember when the PS3 came out, they were instantly going for like $600 on eBay, and they were only selling for like $300 retail at that point. And it was just impossible to find them. I think Mom got one at one point, but we weren't able to keep it. And it was such a big leap. That had the online connectivity already built into it, and internal
you didn't
storage.
have to pay for it.
And yeah, back then you
back
didn't have
then.
to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and The
Now both
PS2
consoles do
did,
that.
Yeah.
but you had to get like a special disc and an adapter and all this stuff, and it was a pain. But the PS2 actually worked pretty good with the internet once you got it.
It did, yeah, but nobody
All
was
connected.
on it if you were playing any multiplayer games most of the time anyway, so.
Yeah, towards the end for sure. But I remember playing some like wrestling games and stuff with other people online. And
Really? I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
But yeah, back when should I say Joe? He had a PS. So Joe used to have a PS4 or a PS2. I would say, and he had
years ago.
He built it.
he was a time traveler. Yes. Yeah. So somehow he had modded it or downloaded a mod off the internet because it was connected, or I don't exactly know how he did it, but he had all kinds of characters in wrestling that weren't in the game, and like he was downloading custom characters and stuff that
See, I just know that
you can't even do until the game that comes out next month. So I don't know how that worked.
So I knew that like you could get online and be like, oh, I want to make Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So you would look up the stuff, like if you weren't connected, you would look up the stuff and it would tell you, all right, well, the face has to be this level and the body's this level and then the color is this specific thing on the wheel, and that's how you would do it instead of like connecting to the internet and getting it.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, the guides where he had just told you every little detail, and
and you'd follow it to a T.
Yeah.
I was like Lego games, when we'd play those, we'd go online and look up the like cheat code list, and then we'd take a piece of paper and write down every single one.
Yeah, I had all the
Unlock
Grand Theft Auto
everything.
ones.
Copy them, write them in, and be like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then we could
so
put
they cross off the
mustaches
list
on
as you're
our Lego
going.
Star Wars characters.
yeah, and then
You mess one up, and you're just like, oh no, did I write it wrong? Do I need to go back?
oh yeah, but the kids who had money would buy the Scholastic Fair books of cheat codes.
Big,
Yeah.
big ones.
Yeah, it had like every
everything.
PlayStation 2
Yeah.
game
Yeah, you just
ever.
go to the library and rent the book.
Oh yeah, the library started renting them, and that was a game changer. with
Literally.
especially with like Grand Theft Auto, there was so many cheat codes and stuff you could do, flying cars and stealing
I
airplanes.
remember the PS1 had the original Spider-Man game.
with eel gnats.
Yeah, Eel Gnats was the cheat to unlock everything because it was Stanley backwards.
Oh yeah.
I still remember that.
Yeah, I'll never forget that cheat code.
I get that on my at one point it was a bitch to play on my phone, but at one point I had it on my phone and I still remembered to put in the cheat code.
But with the cheat code, you get infinite life, so it doesn't matter how hard it is to play.
Oh, yeah.
You're not gonna die. But yeah, I don't know. The PS3, as much as it stepped up the game, I feel like I've got more nostalgia for the PS2. It's just
And I think part of that comes
We
from
were kids.
the amount of like remake that happens
From the
starting
PS2
from that
games,
point.
yeah.
That's true.
right.
Because like, especially PS3, I mean, like Skyrim. I mean, Last of Us they remade as well. Like, there's so many games that came out during that generation that they were just like, okay, we're still making them
Keep it
even
going.
to now. There's the PS5 versions of those games and stuff. It's like we're generations ahead, and we're still just remaking games that came out
Right.
2 generations ago.
Last of Us was a great game, though. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
that
mentioned
was-
that.
Even that though, they're remaking it for PS5 now, and it's like,
Yeah.
is that really necessary? Like,
Right.
how much more are you adding to it at this point?
Yeah,
this
especially
point,
because
it's
most
just-
people
it's cash
have
cow.
PS4, so it's like just
Yeah,
play it like, on your PS4
exactly.
Yeah.
if you really want to play it.
Most it'll have is like, oh, the adaptive trigger, so when you pull back on your bowstring, it's more tense, and it's like that's a cool thing. But
Yeah. I
Put it
heard
in the next one.
I heard that in the PS5 remake, though, they're incorporating the DLC into the story. It's going to be like woven instead of being a separate
instead
thing.
of a separate thing that you play,
Yeah.
when you reach that point, it just happens.
I guess so. That's what I've been hearing, but who knows really?
The one game that I really cared about that was for the PS3 that you can't play on the newer systems is Portal 2. That's one of my favorite games of all time.
It's more of a PC game.
That's
though.
why you need the Steam Deck coming out soon.
Thought it was
Our
already
sponsor.
out.
Yeah, that's our sponsor for the week. No, but that
Those
I mean
shame
that's
wreck.
that's what I play it on, so that's where I have all my trophies and stuff. So I want to continue to play it on
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
So that's really the only reason why I still have my PS3 is just so I can play Portal when I feel like it.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they didn't bring it forward at all, so
And-
you can't play it on the 4 or on the 5.
I mean, PS2, we completely skipped over Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
That's big for
It's as old as I am.
Right, yeah. Kingdom Hearts was a huge game on the PS2.
Well, it took us. We got the first. How did we get the first one?
Joe introduced us to it again.
Did he?
Yeah, he got that first, and then we started playing it over there.
Oh, yeah, I
I don't
remember.
think we really thought anything of it, because it was just not only was it kind of under the radar, but it was also,
I mean, I
seemed
remember
kinda
the original
kiddie.
commercials for it.
yeah,
But
so do I, but I at least me, I guess I won't speak for you, but I remember it seemed like a little kiddie. All the Disney games at that point had been little kid games and stuff. But,
I don't remember playing it there. I just remember playing it at the house.
Maybe it was just Zach that played
Yeah,
it.
maybe
then,
I just
and
played it
then-
there, and then I introduced it to you or something.
That's
'Kay, I
possible.
think he let me borrow it. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah, that seems like that would make sense.
But then we rented Kingdom Hearts 2 from the game store on a weekly basis or whatever,
Well, I mean,
and it kept
the
not
first
working.
4 times that we tried to rent it, it didn't work.
There was one part
until
where it stopped.
Grandma just sent it to us for your birthday.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts was a crazy thing to happen to gaming, but we could probably make a whole episode
That's
about
at least
that.
for us.
Right.
Becca,
But
go get lost
Becca
in the
was-
basement so we can talk about it.
Becca was talking about being able to still play Portal on the PS3, and I just want to say, if that was a Xbox 360 game, you probably wouldn't be able to do that because they had really bad Red Ring of Death issues, and I don't think your 360 would work still if that was.
Well,
It was
a 360 game.
And
Well,
we can
yes.
still play it.
Shane has it for the 360.
Okay, well,
I-
be careful then, Shane.
Yeah.
But
So I didn't know that.
but yeah, I meant I'm glad your file's not on the PS or on that 360 with all your trophies
that it
and
could
stuff,
die.
because that console, at least the early ones, I don't know if they ended up fixing it later, but were really notorious for overheating or whatever caused the Red Ring of Death that would just corrupt all your data and
Yeah.
you couldn't really do anything.
Brick the
and-
system.
yeah, and so you basically had to get a new 360. It was almost cheaper to do that than send it in at that point. I think at one point Microsoft did do it under warranty or whatever, but it was a big pain. And yeah, once you lost all your data, it's like...
Why?
Yeah, not worth it. And then you have trust issues.
That's why I wish they would release Fable on multiple platforms. I want to be able to play it on the PS4 or PS5.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think they're making a new
making
Fable
a new
game.
one,
They
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
for, is it going to be for the Xbox One or for the PC?
Both.
It's gonna be both,
Everything
'cause
is now
Microsoft
PC.
has the pass now, so pretty much all their games are doing simultaneous release. And then there's also Bethesda games now, or
Yeah.
the issue of whether they're releasing on
Yeah,
multiple things or not and
they
stuff.
should. Xbox still gets the money.
I think they're
They've
really...
said that some games won't though, which certain games
It makes sense.
I
yeah.
could, especially big games, I could see them locking behind their system because since they're so big,
Yeah.
the next Elder Scrolls game is a thing where it's there's people that will pay the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
money to buy an entire console just for that one game.
Right.
And so they can get a lot more money from that. Or, people that have PC could still probably do it because it's going to release for the Game Pass as well.
I think both companies are starting to...
Do that, which sucks.
Right. Well, no, I was going to say I think both companies are starting to make games available on all systems and on PC.
Yeah, PlayStation
and-
is like God of War is now.
Yeah.
Go on.
I think it's going to be more limited time exclusivity. For the first year a game's out, it might be only for the PS5, and then it'll be on more things and
Yeah.
online. But Sony's definitely been leaning lately towards putting things on PC, and Microsoft's been doing that for all their games for a while
obviously
now.
Microsoft has
Oh
the
yeah,
whole
Microsoft is
online
an
system
internet
already for
PC
years.
company.
So
I gotta get caught up on my bills. Can you pay
I
my
got
bills? Can you
bills.
pay my telephone
I
bills?
gotta
Can you
pay.
pay my automobiles?
I don't think you do.
Hey,
is happening?
and me all through. All right.
You don't know
All
that
right, and thank you. Back to
No.
our entertainment news. A giant Godzilla monster is attacking the eastern seaboard.
What?
Oh yeah!
And his name is Lil Jon! So, can we just talk about the fact that the 360 was the first console to do the Kinect?
Oh.
Like, the Wii did have that sensor bar, but the Kinect had where you could just stand in front of it, no controllers, no anything, and just...
Okay.
Too bad most of it was garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait.
It was early.
So the
We work better
technology
than
that the iPhones have now for Face Unlock is based on the Kinect. The company that made the Kinect originally was bought by Apple, and then they created that, and it worked way better than the Wii sensor bar. You could get 2 candles and set them up, and the Wii works with candles. It doesn't even need the sensor bar.
That's because of
Kinect.
how it works.
Yeah.
The system
so
is
the
you know how the
functional
Kinect
on
works?
The Kinect can record
It tracks you and
it
records
knows
you.
where your hands
It
are.
literally shows you. Like,
I'm aware, but the way
whole
that
body tracking,
the
is
way
way
that
better.
it tracked was super messed up quite often. As someone who played a decent amount of Kinect games, quite often.
Oh,
it
how bad
sucked.
was it if you played a decent amount?
Still sucked.
Why'd you keep playing them if it sucked?
Because I like games and I'm bored.
Well, we had the one game.
The Fable game, especially, you'd have to ride a horseback and you'd just be sitting there like,
Yeah.
That's terrible.
it's not going, it's not going.
But it'd
I
be
played
like,
the Disney one and I'd be sitting there just,
That I liked.
I'm like, why am I not moving?
I bought that one.
I'm aware.
The movie one.
what
Yeah,
was
the movie one is
There
the
was-
best
Yeah,
one.
U-Star.
Zach has some of those.
And that one was all just like, you're recorded and put in it. It's not like, okay, let
Yeah,
me
you
match
don't
your
have to
limbs to
actually
what the
do
character's
anything.
doing,
Yeah,
so
right.
it was fine.
But do you guys remember the Kinect like adventure game where you
Yeah.
were riding down rapids and you
Yeah,
had to
that's
be,
it.
like,
That one was the one I played the most.
Right. That was kind of fun.
The Kung Fu Panda one sucked.
I don't
I
remember
don't
that
remember
one.
Panda
that one.
Connect.
Yeah, that sucked.
I think that was just for you.
I'm
Kung Fu
90,
Panda
I'm
was my
99
nickname in Arizona.
I'm 99% sure there was a Kung Fu Panda Connect game. I remember that.
You're not 100.
I would need to look it up. I'm not 100, but I'm pretty sure I remember playing a Kung Fu Panda Connect game. And it didn't work well. I don't think I ever finished the game because it didn't work well.
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 2 for the Kinect.
Wow.
It was loosely based on the film of the same
It didn't
name.
function well, and I never finished the game.
So, but it was released across Nintendo DS, PlayStation 3, Wii, Xbox 360. So, like, it didn't necessarily need the Kinect. If you would have just played it on a different system.
So they probably made it for other systems and
It
then
wasn't
just implemented the
specifically made
Kinect
for
into
that.
it. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which probably any game that wasn't specifically designed for the Kinect probably wouldn't have played as good. But
Except Fable.
every
That's
game on the
I kind of
Wii,
listed
Garbage.
other games that also suck
right?
that
That's
were
true.
only for
But-
that.
Like we said, it was very early on. You know, they were still designing the technology.
Yeah.
But it was good for what they had at the time.
And
Same Wii technology worked better.
that's your opinion.
That's like comparing apples
It
to
is.
oranges, Shane.
And-
It's not...
Both are fruits. You can compare them.
Exactly.
But today we wouldn't want a Kinect system. I don't feel like we would have virtual reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Oculus type stuff.
It's the early stages of what would become
Yeah.
a better format. So I feel like for what it was pretty groundbreaking.
I'm not saying it wasn't groundbreaking. I'm just saying that it sucked.
Yeah, looking back,
It was garbage.
That's fair.
Shane's just hating that.
If okay, if
I'm
you
not saying it wasn't a good thing it existed, but it was garbage.
fair.
And then we tried to get it working, and then we realized that several of them had issues.
The Wii tried to get it working.
No, the Kinect.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
So we tried to get one working here.
Yeah, and then we
Oh.
bought a new one, and it also didn't want to work. And then we were looking it up, and turns out a bunch of them were having issues.
Did you
and
try
that
setting up
was just a
candles?
thing. That was Kinect, not the Wii, Zach.
Wii. Let's talk about the Wii.
Wii.
I feel like we're already talking about the Wii a bunch. Let's just move into it.
Yeah.
We're gonna move into.
Bowling.
The Wii is probably the first Nintendo system that I was really invested in. The 64 was okay, but I feel like I played 3 or 4 games on it mainly. And one of the ones that I really remember hardcore with it was a rental game. But we played a ton of Yoshi on the 64.
Game Boy
Eric's
Advance
Paul Giamatti face.
was,
Okay.
was
Okay, fair. first console.
Amazing. And
Let's
big skip.
We'll move into handhelds.
Non-handheld.
But as far as home consoles,
yeah, okay.
I wasn't into the 64, or I wasn't into the GameCube. I wasn't really a Nintendo person before that, and I think a lot of it's like growing up what console your parents buy you.
Well, branching off of that, I remember one time I woke up in the middle of the night and I went out into the living room and I had this Hannah Montana Wii game and it was like a singing game and Zach was in the living room at like 3 a.m. whispering into the Wii like this game and I was like, what are you doing? And he was like, nothing.
You get the best of both worlds.
So, yeah, you were in Cairo.
I was in Cairo.
I
was on tour, bitches. Nobody's perfect, okay,
So,
Becca?
yeah, clearly, the Wii did have a strong effect on you because it got you playing Hannah Montana.
I was invested. I would play any game on the Wii.
I mean, for the Wii, we also had the Beatles Rock Band.
We did.
Rock
We did.
Band.
And that was the best.
Shout out to Papa and Grandma that got that for us
the
for
Beatles
Christmas.
Rock Band.
Me
I
and
was
Zach
looking
had a
that up.
competition going with the like Everybody Votes channel because they had
Oh,
the
yeah.
distance
Everybody
home and
votes.
stuff.
That was cool.
And I was literally like 2 meters away or something when they shut down all
Yeah.
the like online systems, and I was like, I'm never gonna reach home now.
I remember when I fell off of a truck and ripped my chin open. I was.
That's a story you've never told on here or your channel in general. I don't
Not
think.
told on my channel.
Have
but,
you?
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I was grounded at the time, or I got grounded right after or something. I don't remember
You don't
why.
say you got grounded
You don't
for
remember why?
For jumping on a truck.
But
that was moving.
But I remember going on the Wii and messaging my girlfriend at the time and being like, "Hey, I fell off of. Hey, I fell." It took so long to type with.
Yeah.
But
hands shaky, and you're like, oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
it was like the first console that you could like go on the internet, like internet browser with, not just the internet to
Yeah, that's
do stuff.
that's what we used to watch Netflix on.
Yeah.
That was like the first
And
console we would watch Netflix on.
But that was
the
back
Wii.
when Netflix had a disc that you had to put in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You had to order the Netflix disc to be able to stream with the Wii. It was a couple of years later before they had the app for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how many people actually remember when Netflix was
Only discs.
only discs? You would send off. It's
probably
like
not a lot.
Mom
GameFly. You would send off for
They
discs.
technically still have that,
Mom
but I'm
still
sure nobody uses it.
has a Netflix DVD at the house.
I believe
I
it.
see it in the sleeve still, and I'm just like, oh man.
What's she gonna do? Send it back now?
I was
Yeah.
like, thank God we can add this to our
Pretty
system.
sure
now.
the fees she's paid every month has been more than enough to make up for it.
Well, and one of the cool things about the Wii was like you had so much creativity with making all the Mii's,
Yeah.
and people could share them with each other. So
Yeah.
I know we had like
Spider-Man,
the
Billy
Joker,
Mays.
yeah,
We
Billy
had
Mays, Spider-Man. We had Garfield.
Cheeseburger.
We had
Yeah.
all of the Alvin and the Chipmunks and the Chipettes.
Hulk Hogan.
Because you could just like share them with each other
Right.
through the internet, and that was really cool. So we had like a parade of all these different characters.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you guys ever experienced the Wii U at all, but the Mii's almost got in the way. That Mii parade was like on the home screen of the Wii U, and so they would all just like storm in underneath your icons, and it'd be like,
That's
I can't see what I'm doing. Like, Garfield, get out of here. So yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with the Wii U, so I
Yeah, never.
I was like, I played it like
I
we
think-
won't
twice,
talk
I
about
think.
that one
Yeah,
much.
well, once
But
once the Wii was out, then they kind of
yeah,
went down a little bit, and then the Switch
So they
came,
went back up.
and they went back.
I think a lot of people just probably thought the Wii U was some kind of accessory or an
Yeah,
extension
like
of the Wii.
extension
It wasn't like
version.
a whole new thing. And so,
It did lead to the Switch, which
Yeah.
has to be appreciated.
Oh yeah,
Same thing
the
with-
Switch is great.
I say same thing with how Connect led to greater things. Wii U wasn't great, but
Yeah,
branched off
the
into
Switch is
something
like
much better.
a console, but it's also handheld too, so that's really
Yeah.
And you get like major games on it instead of just games that are like,
Yeah.
oh, these are ones that'll fit on here.
yeah.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of that though, because there's it's weaker than other hardware, so they have to do cloud gaming, and then it's
Only for
rough.
a few games, but like if you look
now, but
if you
it's
look
gonna,
at Final Fantasy X, this always blew my mind. Final Fantasy X was a PS2 game that used up basically every ounce of data it had on the disc, and now you can play Final Fantasy X remastered on the Switch.
7?
And it's just that little 10.
Oh.
And it's just that little like tiny cartridge thing that
Oh,
holds
yeah.
all the information that a
Right.
DVD
There still isn't much
barely had.
space on it though.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely doesn't hold as many like games as what a
Oh
full
well, sure, but
console can. Obviously, hold like 1 or 2.
But I mean, you're getting like Assassin's Creed games that were on the PlayStation 3
And obviously they
that
had
are on the
yeah.
Switch.
They had like Breath of the Wild, which is one of
Right.
the biggest games within recent history. Honestly,
Definitely.
it's been voted as like one of the top games of all time by several people.
Right.
So
I mean,
it's-
in terms of like Assassin's Creed 3 originally was on a Blu-ray disc,
Yeah.
which held a lot of data, and then they could shove that entire game onto that little tiny cartridge.
I mean, it's like the difference between the amount of data that they had to send people to space is
is in the
if you got a console and they're like, that's how much space you have, everyone would be like, I can't put anything on that. What do you mean? And it's like, we sent people to space with that, but now I can't play a game with that much space.
Right. That much space, was it a pun?
Speaking of space,
Our other sponsor.
Space Soda by Coke.
I
Watch
think,
the video. There's a taste test. Ding.
I think that the Switch, even though a lot of the games that have been on other systems, at least especially the newer consoles, they have to be turned down a little bit to be able to work on the Switch. But I feel like being able to play them portably is worth the trade-off there. But anything with the cloud gaming, in my experience, has been pretty rough.
As a not
And
really
you can't take it portable,
works, doesn't work as well. Like the comparisons between Kingdom Hearts
Right.
original on the PlayStation versus the
And especially because the
looks
Switch doesn't
worse even
have Ethernet, so it's only Wi-Fi that's laggy and you run into issues.
Yeah.
But again, the portability in all, I think, really makes up for that because
Yeah.
people used to buy like screens that you can attach to PS2s and Xboxes and stuff, and then be able to play it somewhat portably. But even then, it was like a big hassle, and it's much easier just to be able to take a tiny tablet-sized thing around and be able to play full AAA games, more or less.
Yeah.
Well, two systems that kind of failed with that, but I feel like the Switch was able to push through was the PSP and the PS Vita.
Yeah.
Well, the
I feel like-
PSP was actually did pretty good, but the Vita is the one that really.
Oh, well, I don't know. I never really.
I don't think the PSP ever reached the heights that they wanted.
Honestly,
it
I was like, it's definitely not as
yeah, it
prolific and stuff as
it couldn't
what the
compete with the
Switch and stuff has
DS.
reached.
That's for sure. It was good for what it was, but the DS lapped it every time. Not in quality or like the PSP was way better graphically, and it could play DVDs basically. They were like the smaller, but it was full movies and everything, and it just technologically it beat the DS in every way, but the DS just sold way better and it ended up having way more games and.
Yeah. That's the gimmick for Nintendo that always does it.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
You
But-
have to give the Nintendo is still as good as it is and like as popular with the fact that unlike PlayStation and Xbox, they've never released like the same console really. Every single one has just been like,
it's always
oh, completely different from the last one.
Right. Yeah.
People are still like, great.
But
Whereas
is that
PlayStation's like, this is an upgraded version of our last one. Whereas this one's like, okay, this one controlled like this, different control entirely.
is that good though? Do you like that? Because I almost feel like if they had done the GameCube and then now we were on the GameCube 5 or whatever, like it would be maybe a beast of technology.
It'd be the same thing basically as a Xbox or a PlayStation at this point.
So yeah, because that's
I
the
like
thing
having
with
something
with PlayStation and
They're basically the
Xbox
same
is that
thing.
they're pretty much the same, other than like controller, and Xbox runs a little bit better, but for the most part,
Does it?
It's
but
basically-
We're a PlayStation.
It's like an Android or an
Play-
iPhone. It's the UI.
PlayStation also has
Yeah.
obviously they don't have, it doesn't run as well, but they have the adaptive triggers and everything and the haptic feedback and everything. So it's like they added that
I like
In
PlayStation
return-
exclusives better than Xbox exclusives too,
for now. Yeah.
and better than Nintendo exclusives. I've never been a big Zelda person, or
I've never played
Mario
a single
stuff.
Zelda game other than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was really
Hey,
good.
no.
I haven't played Breath.
We played
No,
Twilight
I
Princess
never beat that.
for the
I played it
Wii.
once and then you abandoned me. So I hate that game.
Sorry.
Jeez, maybe would have beat it if it was on the Kinect.
Maybe I would have.
All right, get the chicken. Now throw it.
But yeah, Breath of the Wild was really fun, pretty good.
And it's
Yeah.
very, very
I
open
haven't-
world.
I haven't played it yet, but I've definitely seen it, and it's really pretty for a Switch game.
Yeah.
And it's
I played I got BioShock and played that on and stuff since it's
nice.
portable. So that was a nice
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch is kind of the ultimate culmination of everything that Nintendo's been doing, though, and
Yeah.
It's magnum opus.
and exactly,
For
and
now.
I think that comes from them having the handheld line and the console line, and so in that way, I guess it is good that
They've branched
changing
out,
it up all the
and
time.
that's they're really the only portable. So that's the fact
Yeah.
that they've differed has allowed them to kind of
right.
do that rather than just being another kind of version of like which one do I prefer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's been like, oh well, this thing is completely different rather than. So I think that's kind of a cool little thing that separates them from the rest.
Mm-hmm. You guys have any other thoughts on the Game Boys?
Well, yeah.
Just play Frogger.
On the Game Boy?
Love Frogger, yeah.
Nice.
I know
Used to
that
play
was
Shrek.
one that we all played a
Shrek.
lot because we had the Game Boy Advance and we had two of those. I remember we had the one that flipped up and then we had
It's the Game Boy SP.
Oh my bad.
Game Boy Advance was just the
The Game Boy SP just was basically an
Yeah.
advance with
Yeah.
a light.
right. Yeah,
Um,
back when they didn't have backlights on the screen.
Yeah. And then I remember we had one of those lights that you could clip to the top too and turn it on. But I know we played a lot of Pokemon on those.
Right.
That
Oh,
was I haven't really played Pokemon on anything else besides the Game
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
And,
I think I played it on the DS a little bit.
Played Pokemon
Yeah.
on. I got a Pokemon for my phone. I got Pokemon on the DS. I got
Pokemon on the Switch.
And then I remember something that was really new that I don't remember really being on anything else was there was that WarioWare game.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
it was,
The
so it
WarioWare
was
is always
mini
fun.
games, and it had like it was basically like a normal cartridge, but it had like a
rumble
what
pack.
would it- Yeah, rumble pack.
But
on
it
the
had
back.
gyroscope in it too, so it could measure your motion.
Yeah, so like you had games where you'd have to like tip to one side or the other, and I don't really remember that. Like there were no other games like that at the
Right.
time. That was like
Even
really,
that was
really cool and new.
Nintendo kind of doing early days of what the Switch would become, or the Wii. I mean, with the motion controls and stuff. And,
Yeah.
And PS3 controller also had a little motion
yeah, well, that was after the Wii.
thing in it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. Like,
So we're saying it was kind
I'm
of like the
saying
forerunner to
They
that.
did that,
Oh, yeah.
and then PS3 and
They were trying to catch up.
stuff were like, oh, let's
Yeah.
put that into the new controllers.
Right. Once the Wii blew up, everybody was trying to do motion stuff, and
That's the PlayStation move.
yeah,
Yeah.
We used to
Yeah.
cheat on WarioWare. I don't know if you guys remember that.
we used to
Yeah.
cheat on it.
There was
Well,
that
because
one
Shane
where
and I
it
were
would be
so
like
shaky.
you'd blow the candle out, or it was like stacking something like that.
And you just
And so we
scream.
set it down on the table
Yeah.
and then started it, and then it got up to like level 500 or something.
Oh wow.
And it was just like immediately ending because of the time frame.
Yeah. And I remember Mom coming in and she was like, "You guys are cheating," and we were like, "Okay."
So the high score was unbeatable because it was physically impossible with just the natural shake of any human's hands.
Right.
Or there was I remember there was a love test on there where like each person would hold one side and click it at the same time, and it was supposed to tell if you were in love. And I just do it with myself. I'd be like,
I hate
myself.
myself.
I hate myself.
Andy Milonakis. Yeah. I don't think we got. I think we got the Game Boy Advance before. At least I played the Game Boy Color, the original Game Boy.
We had a
But,
Game Boy Color.
But I think
we definitely got the Advance
Yeah.
pretty soon after, I think.
that's
I
fair.
don't remember ever playing the color.
Yeah, I think I played the Color after the Advance. Maybe you had.
Maybe
done it the other
was
way,
same
but-
lineup.
I remember because of the backwards compatibility, you could play all the games that were on those on the Advance,
Well, we had
and then with a backlight once the SP came out,
We-
so
we
there was
had-
no need to play the other ones.
we had Pokemon before we had Pokemon, but it was a Pokemon trading card game.
I love that game still.
On the Game Boy,
Mm-hmm.
so you would actually have like the card. You would be a person, and you would have the cards battling other people.
It's a Game Boy Color game, and I still play that game today.
Do you?
I do,
On the
yeah.
Game Boy Color?
On my 3DS. I have a jailbroken 3DS too, and I downloaded that game. And legally.
You have to legally jailbreak RDs.
And so, yeah, I've got the Pokemon game that you play with cards, and I've got the Yu-Gi-Oh game that you play with the actual
really
card
liked,
game with the rules. Because a lot of the other Yu-Gi-Oh card games back in the day too didn't actually play by the card rules, and for a while we were into the card game, and then you'd play the video games, and it'd be a totally different set of rules, and be.
We also had the one that you were actually Yu-Gi-Oh, but it took place in like the second, or Yugi, come on, and you would walk around the city and actually fight the people.
Yeah, but that didn't play by the right rules.
That was the TV show rules basically.
More or less, even then they had crazy things like all the fusion was just whatever you could lift up, and then you just guessed randomly basically, and it had like Venus and Saturn you had to pick between, and you're like, what does this have to do with Yu-Gi-Oh? You had no idea most of the time what you were doing, and it was impossible. I would stay up for
fun, though.
hours.
I have that one, I think, also on my phone.
Yeah, I ended up deleting that game because it's so hard, and you used to be able to type in the card codes. You beat it?
Yeah, I beat it.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I did. When we were kids, I beat it. But I also remember the one where you played as like you were actually playing the card game. Like every day you would pop in, you would get to draw a different card from.
That's the one I have. Yep.
Grandpa's shop. Yeah.
But on the other one for the PS1 that we were just talking about, you could put in
I'm talking about one on the.
Oh, okay.
It took place during the second season when
right.
we were actually in the city,
okay.
and not on Pegasus Island.
Right. We're going on a Yu-Gi-Oh tangent now.
But we did have the one on the PlayStation 1.
Right. I was talking about the shitty one on the PS1.
I thought that one was fun too.
It was fun, but it was so hard. It's called Forbidden Memories.
Yeah, that one you really were guessing, yeah.
Yeah, you had to guess everything on that. It didn't explain anything, and it had
that for my phone.
crazy rules that made no sense.
Learned to play it perfectly.
You could get the good cards with putting in the code that was actually on the physical card if you had it, or look it up online. But most of any cards that were worth anything cost like 9 billion star chips, and you could never actually get them. So it's just
you just weren't committed enough.
Somebody did the math, and you would have to literally spend like 40 hours dueling one person for one card.
Dude, I remember staying up like all night playing that game though.
Me too, and I learned some tricks, but I still couldn't get past
the hard parts. The little brown furry guy.
The mages.
It was like, no, I'm talking like, it's a little ball. And he was furry and brown.
Cousin It.
There you go, Karima.
Cousin It, yeah. Before you got a haircut.
It was like 300 points, so it was like the cheapest thing to put down.
Right?
You know, like 12 of them in your deck.
Yu-Gi-Oh! I know. You guys...
Only a few people are going to find this.
You come for the pickleballs, you stay for the Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, I that was a good game too. Lots of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, you guys got anything else to add on consoles?
PlayStation 4 was good. PlayStation 5 was sick.
Oh yeah. We all have PlayStation 5s and they're really good.
Way to brag, Becca.
Sorry.
I want Zach to tell a story first before we do anything else.
Is this a story that I know?
Yes.
You always tell me to tell stories. And
He's talking about the job interview story that he said you should tell.
Oh.
Yeah, because I don't know this
Becca doesn't know it.
I barely remember it, but I remember,
stop calling me.
if I'm thinking of the same thing you are, I was on a road trip with my grandparents, and we went to a McDonald's, and they had
Is this when you were going to Tennessee?
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
And they had a booth set up with applications, and there was a guy sitting there, I think, that was more or less doing like interviews on the spot. if you filled out an application. So I quickly filled out an application, and
Tennessee McDonald's.
it wasn't in Tennessee, but it was a couple hours away from the house, and I was like 14. So I filled out an application, and the guy was like, "Oh, awesome. When can you start?" I was like, "Tuesday." And he was like, "Okay, do you have transportation? Do you have reliable transportation to and from work?" I was like, "No, not really." And he was like, "Oh, well, do you live close? Can someone give you a ride or something?" I was like, "I live like 1,000 miles away. I don't live anywhere near here." And then he was just like, "Okay, get out of here."
How long did you have that guy going?
It was like 2 or 3 questions, not very long at all. But I'm pretty sure our grandpa was like egging me on.
I'm sure.
Probably.
At least you got a
Really
kick out
sounds
of
like
it.
Papa
But yeah.
Yeah, he was probably like, "I'll buy you a uniform, Zach."
Yeah, I remember being like, "I'll put on a name tag and call me Mick-Zach." So yeah.
I just wanted you to tell
That's
us
a random
like that story.
I'll tell another story while we bring out the pickleballs, because I think it is time to do our... Oh, no, Eric, no. Those are...
Not
The
pickles.
jizz is back.
Shane, what was it you said, Shane, yesterday?
There were several things. I don't know. There was some. I don't know. There's something at Rocket.
Sounds so funny.
Yeah, whatever.
There was something that we saw, and I was like, "Oh, I bet the jizz would like that."
Oh god, there's one in here that is bigger than all the others. It's going to Shane.
Oh, it was. I think it was like cock soda or something that was.
Yeah, I love Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and so I think I made
It's so
some
good.
remark about like, "Oh, I bet
So
the
the
jizz
jizz
would like
would
that
love
one."
Yeah, Coca-Cola is good.
Okay.
Good to know you like that.
Oh, I
We'll make
opened
sure the
it.
viewers
Can
know
you guys
that one.
smell it?
Never tried it. No, I can't. Let me smell.
Salty.
I thought it smelled like the llama farm.
I think it smells kind of salty.
Like
Smells
a llama
familiar.
farm.
It smells
Sort of
familiar.
pickly.
Sort of
It
pickly.
does
Should
not
we
smell
give Shane
pickly.
the biggest one, or should
If
we
it
just
smells like the other ones,
shake them up?
They all look bigger than last time.
Yeah, they're. But there's one in
This isn't
there.
the place to get
There's
it.
one in there that's real big,
yeah, give the big one to
and
Shane.
because he hasn't tried it yet. This is Zach's
I'll take the
third
big one.
time having it.
Very top one.
Well, pick whichever one you want, I
Third
guess.
time.
No, I'll take the big one.
You should have given Shane the big one.
I think Shane's might be bigger than mine.
No, do
you wanna switch?
Switch it.
Mine might be a little bit like thicker.
Oh, God. Ugh, I'm not looking
Once
forward to this again.
That's
Yeah,
better.
we do it.
Okay, wait. Let me make sure the camera's still going.
I'm gonna have my water.
We did this twice.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Grab your water. We're good.
Never done this.
We can do this. Okay.
Deep breaths.
Okay.
Oh, this really stains the fingers.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
Okay.
It's a good thing we didn't buy the powder. Because I was gonna put that on my
Should
wrist
we have
and
a
lick it
little?
off. My whole
Should
wrist
we
would
have a
just-
little mantra going?
So, they had when we went to buy this, they had a whole thing of just the powder from this.
Oh, really?
Like
Oh,
a whole
God.
big tube of it. I don't know why anyone would buy that.
At Rockefeller?
Yes.
Should have gotten it.
What
Uh,
the
We
hell?
could put it in Eric's tea.
Okay.
I think he would be able to tell by
I
the
cannot
smell.
believe I'm doing this.
Cheers,
again.
everybody.
I didn't want to do this the first time, by the
We
way.
have a trash can. We'll put it closest to you because we know you're gonna
I
spit
can't
it out
believe
first.
I'm doing this a
That's
third
not
time.
last time. You were the one that got out first.
Alright.
Okay,
Thank
cheers,
you.
guys.
Cheers. Oh, God.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Oh. Oh, shit, yeah.
You got this, bro.
That's not good.
It's pretty tasty.
Clearly, that's 3 times now.
I was first this time.
No rapping. No talking.
Just
Only
Little
Lil
John.
John ad-libs.
Yeah!
Lil John!
Oh, God.
Did you get it down?
No, you put it in the cheek. It's like you're drinking pickle juice.
No, it's not. It's not though.
I have it in my cheek. I'm sucking, and the saliva is instantly just turning into pickle juice.
I don't know if I'd call it pickle juice, but it definitely makes it a little more bearable.
No, it doesn't. Because I was doing that.
I was doing that, and then I had it on my tongue too long, so I had to spit it.
Kind of burning my throat though. I'm very salty.
It is super salty.
Our teeth.
Shane, you're doing good.
It's because he's just got it in the. You got to get it in the middle. That way you get the texture.
So do I, bro.
You got to get the texture.
Rough. This sucks. Even though
No, it was on my tongue for a while.
Yeah, but get it on there now where the texture is kind of slimy and like
Like a ball.
it gives just a little bit. Yeah, it's like you're.
It's like a ball.
Ugh,
It's like a ball.
like a ball of grass. Ugh, that's so gross.
Ugh.
Did you swallow it?
Almost.
Bite it.
I'm biting it.
You got to get it down by the.
Come on, bud.
It'll dissolve.
My lips
That's
taste
cheating.
So salty.
Oh God.
You have to spit?
I'm good.
You want water?
Get me some water.
Where's my soda?
Here you
Oh,
go.
that one's mine. Woo! Shane wins. I swallowed it last time. This time it was too big. Oh, that was rough.
Thought it tasted like pickle juice, Shane.
I didn't even make it as long as I did last
It
time.
dissolved in my cheek. There's several pieces left in there.
I didn't even make it as long as I did
It sticks
last time.
all in your teeth and your gums. Doesn't it? You're,
Oh, God.
Stick out your tongue, guys.
Oh God, your tongue is like.
Yeah, Shane's is so green.
Oh, my God. It's like a freaking incredible hole.
You won't like Shane's tongue when it's angry.
I was going to say
It was
looks
too
like
salty,
you.
but other than that, I think it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it's so salty though.
It was the texture
I also
that started
wasn't-
getting me.
I also wasn't a fan of the chili powder or whatever they have in there.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of any of it. It's pretty awful.
Just
but
not a fan.
Because that was the first thing that I started to dislike about it. I could taste the chili powder, and I was like, just doesn't work well with the rest of it.
yeah, it's definitely something that.
It's definitely well spiced with a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh
I don't.
God, I can smell it.
I don't get how they advertise that as something that people love. If, like Texans, there's no way they eat this. There's no way. San Antonio people are smarter than this. I have faith.
I
don't. It's deliciously seasoned. It's seasoned all right. Yeah. Screw these things. That's the last time we're doing
number
that.
3.
That's last, hopefully that's the last time I'm doing that. I've almost ate a whole pack now.
Next video, I'm gonna have just the bottle by itself, and just occasionally just take little bits off my wrist.
Is Shane just snorting the pickle powder?
Take it from the snuff pouch.
Oh man.
God.
Yep, that's bad.
Can't
Okay.
believe we did that again.
Oh, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe.
I'd do it again next episode.
Shane's gonna do this every episode from now on. And leave us a review on whatever podcast app you guys are using to listen to this.
It
if
does
you are.
actually help.
Yeah, it helps people find us. It helps us in the systems to get recommended and whatnot.
And then we can get, sponsors to do even more cool stuff like this.
We can get sponsored by the Alamo
That's right.
company.
We can get sponsored.
We can
by-
eat
We can
all
try
of the
all their
candy.
other delicious items.
Yeah. Like bloody gummy bears.
Hit up
Yummy.
Alamo for us for bloody gummy bears, and let's get us some of those.
Or you can contact like a doll company. Every video we can hold a different porcelain doll in front of us.
That's weird.
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
like that.
Nope.
I know.
If you guys can get that to happen, I'll hold it. You guys don't need to, but
I'm sitting right next to you.
I think it'll hold you. It's gonna be possessed.
no. Grandma, I was holding Grandma's doll.
That thing's weird.
Oh no, I was sitting there holding it. You can ask Becca. I was just sitting there holding little Alice.
Yeah, little Alice had her batteries in, and all of a sudden she just started going. And Grandma was like,
Grandma's like, I've never heard that
she's so
before.
funny.
Grandma was like, never heard that one before.
She just smiled. I was like, what the hell?
Nope. I'm gonna nope out that one.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna ask Becca about it. I'm going to ask Becca what her recommendation of the week is.
guys ready for this one?
No.
Easy.
Yeah!
Do we have a pickleball I can suck on while you're doing this? Is that your recommendation? Is pickleballs?
Oh,
No.
yeah, Becca's recommended pickleballs.
No. So my
They're her
recommendation for the week is to eat a real fucking pickle. Not eat these. Or at least a cucumber.
After 2 weeks in a row, you're finally saying,
Yeah.
eat a real pickle.
Eat a real pickle.
What if we buy pickleballs and soak them in water? And then we just have pickles.
And then we have
And then
pickle.
we'd have
We
pickles.
can eat the balls and see if it tastes better that way.
Do you think it tastes like a cucumber?
Yeah, it just becomes a
It
cucumber.
just becomes a cucumber.
do you guys remember the
Cucumbers, yes.
the guy who runs the jellyfish fan club in
Yes.
SpongeBob?
Yeah, Larry. No.
No.
Not Larry.
Oh, what was
Kevin.
his name?
Kevin.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kevin.
I feel like we have just sucked his balls.
No, they taste better.
I feel... What?
Yeah.
I did say last week that it smelled like it smelled like fish food.
It does smell like fish food.
Yeah.
I thought it smelled like pickles.
No.
I thought it smelled like
no,
shit.
dude. Not like
So we have
pickles.
fish food, pickles, llama
Shit.
farm.
Shit.
Llama shit. Hey!
Z!
B!
S.
E!
Z!
B!
S.
E!
Z!
B!
S!
Easy
Easy
BS!
Easy BS.
See you next week, guys.
There he is, Elf.
Bye, guys.
I need to eat something.
Zach, tell me a story about peanut butter and jelly.